Hey y'all, Mama Snark here. I'm gonna do a video on a service that we used on our most recent trip to Walt Disney World Resort, and that is called Once Upon a Nanny LLC. So I found out about this through some different mom groups that I'm in on social media. Some people that have used them, they come highly recommended. It is an LLC, it's background checked, it's legit. And like I said, through some of my mom groups, several people have actually used them. So it's not like I just kind of did a Google search and found someone. So I'm going to do a brief overview on exactly what the program is. It is called, and I'll insert a screen recording here as I'm just kind of talking about it on the website. So it is basically a nanny service for Walt Disney World Resort, and they do, and I'll insert it here, they do go to other places as well, like I think SeaWorld, maybe Legoland, things like that. So basically they are fairy god nannies that can either come to the theme parks with you and basically be a helping hand, be an extra set of hands for you to help with little ones inside of the theme park. So one of the services, and this is sort of how we did it, they will stay with you throughout your day at the theme park and basically just be like an extra set of hands. So like our nanny, I was talking to her and she said that one of the frequent people that have requested her that she's been with for years now is a single dad that has 3 kids. So she basically is just an extra adult to follow them around, ride the rides with the younger kids that aren't old enough to ride by themselves, because at Disney World you have to be 7 years old to ride by yourself, and you have to be 14 years old to basically be an adult to ride with another child. So take me for instance, if I took my 2 kids by myself, my kids are 5 and 3 years old right now, neither one of them are big enough to ride by themselves. So that rules out doing any of the 2-seater rides. So Slinky Dog Dash, can't do that. Big Thunder Mountain, can't do that. Basically any sorry, allergies are killing me. Basically any roller coaster ride we can't do because my 2 kids can't sit together, and I can't sit with one child and have another one in front of me or behind me because they're not old enough to be in a car by themselves. So in that instance, Once Upon a Nanny, if you hired them out, can sit with the other child so that you can ride things together. Or say you have a little one, say you have a small child that doesn't meet the height requirements, but you also have an older kid that meets the height requirements and wants to do the bigger rides. The nanny can stay with the smaller child while you take the big kid and do all the big kid rides. So that's kind of how we utilized it. So kind of going back to the beginning, like I said, I've heard about it through some of my mom groups that I'm in on Disney social media pages. So went on a girls trip recently. It was myself, my daughter Weezer, who is 3, my friend Dana, and her daughter Riley, who is 4. So Riley and Weez are about 6 months apart. I've been with Weezer a couple of times now. My kids love Disney World. They love all of the rides. We've lucked out in the fact that they're not afraid of anything. They love roller coasters and thrill rides, Tower of Terror, Guardians of the Galaxy, Mine Train, Big Thunder Mountain. My kids love it all. So I've lucked out in that aspect. And you don't know how your kid is going to react to Disney World or to the rides until you go and until you do it. So you could end up having a kid like Riley that's just not into the rides. She was scared of pretty much all of them, and she wasn't about it. She didn't like it. It made her uncomfortable, didn't want to do it. So our first day there together, we went to Magic Kingdom, did the Little Mermaid first. That was a little touch and go, but she loves Ariel, so it was mostly good. We did the Barnstormer next to kind of test and see. She loved the airplane turbulence, so we figured she should be good on roller coasters then. Wrong. We did Barnstormer and she was not here for it. But then when it stopped, she said she liked it and wanted to do it again. So we did it again, and she was still about it. So after that, I had booked Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. My daughter loves Mine Train. Whole time she's going, hands up, whoa. So that's my kid. So based on kind of how she handled Barnstormer, Dana was like, I'm gonna do rider swap with her, and she's just not gonna ride it because I don't think she's gonna enjoy it. So we're like, okay, well, you have to like get up to the front of the queue to a cast member to scan your magic band to set up the rider swap. So while we were waiting, because the lightning lane queue had backed up a little bit, so while we were winding through that, waiting to get to a cast member, the train went by. Riley saw it, said she wanted to do it. Okay, cool. So we get onto the ride and she starts second guessing it. Cried pretty much the whole time on the ride. Hated it. So pretty much after that, like, she just was not down for rides. Next day was Epcot. We get to Epcot. First thing we do is rider swap with Guardians of the Galaxy. Riley wasn't even tall enough for it, so that was a moot point. Wheeze was finally tall enough for it this trip. So we did the rider swap with Guardians of the Galaxy. And then after that, I had set up the Frozen ride. And both of our little girls, like most little girls, love Frozen. So she explained it to her. She's like, it's a slow ride. We're going to be on a boat. You're going to see the Frozen characters. Elsa's going to sing. And she was not wanting to get on it at all. She made her go on it. Did not like it. Cried the whole time. Like, was basically just refusing to do anything else. So at that point, Dana left with her. She was like, I'm not gonna just stroll you around in the stroller and listen to you saying that you're hot, refusing to go on any rides. So she took her back to the hotel for a pool day, which Riley loved. She had a blast swimming in the pool. So I took Wheeze by myself around Epcot, and we just had, a mom-and-daughter day. And I called my husband when I got off the bus when I was heading back to the resort to meet up with Dana and Riley, and I was like, I feel so bad for Dana because this is probably her one and only trip to Disney World. Riley's not enjoying it. Also, it's just not, like, she's probably not going to come back for a while until Riley is much older, or if she at some point goes on, like, a girls trip like I'm doing in May with one of my girlfriends. So, like, I was telling my husband, I was like, I feel so bad that, she didn't get to do anything because her daughter's just not liking the rides. So Hollywood Studios was the next day. And at that point, or before that point, I was like, all right, we're probably just going to ride or swap all day. But Riley's going to be stuck at the theme park with us all day, probably complaining that she's hot and not wanting to do any of the rides. We don't know how she's going to handle shows. So then I remembered seeing on some of my mom groups the Once Upon a Nanny, where you can hire a park nanny. So I was like, let me do a little bit of research when I get back to the hotel room. And I proposed it to Dana. I said, hey, this is a service I've heard about. It's reputable, background checked. It's an LLC. It's not just some random, like, find someone on Facebook Marketplace to babysit your kid at Disney World. So we looked at the website. She talked to her husband about it. And, it's not cheap. So it's, I think, like $40 an hour with a minimum of 3 hours. And we were looking at hiring a nanny for 4 hours, so that at Hollywood Studios with my DAS pass, we should be able to knock out most of the big rides. And so she talked to her husband about it, and her husband was like, check your Venmo, I just sent you money. Like, do it. This is probably your last time to do Disney for a long time. We did a girls trip because her husband just has no interest in Disney at all. So he's not taking her back. So this is probably her one and only chance to, like, do Disney. So we looked at the website. Like I said, they can come to accompany you to the theme park. They all have annual passes. They can come to your resort to watch your kids. So, like, say you're there with your spouse and you want to have a date night, like say you want to have a nice dinner at Les Celliers or the Yacht Club or like the Yachtsman Steakhouse, I think it is, or Space 220 or something, and you just want to have, time to yourself with your spouse, they can come to the resort, put your kid to bed if need be, do fun activities with them at the resort. Our nanny Kara said that they can also do swim days at the resort if you let them know ahead of time so that, they're prepared with a swimsuit and sunscreen and all of that stuff. So did the research, hit the, request to book. You fill out a little questionnaire, and I'll put up a screenshot of my email that actually kind of like answers. So basically you tell them what date you're looking for, what time you're looking for, how many kids, what are the ages of your kids, and basically what are you looking for, like what circumstance are you looking for your nanny to do? So filled that out, said, we're here with a 4-year-old little girl that's just not wanting to do any of the rides. So we're looking for someone to accompany us to Hollywood Studios to watch her, maybe take her to the shows and stuff while her mom rides with me and my daughter so that she can do some stuff. And within an hour, I got a response back, like an emailed response back saying, okay, we have someone available for you tomorrow for the time that you want. And because it was so last minute, like literally the night before, it was send this much money for the 4 hours that you want to this Venmo, and we'll send you back the information with your nanny, and she'll get in touch with you. We'll give you her number. You can text back and forth, that kind of thing. So if you're booking ahead of time, like within 2 weeks or so, you might have the option to like pick your nanny, and I'll insert a screen recording here. They do have like our people, or here are our nannies page, so it kind of shows you pictures and tells you a little bit about each nanny. So if your kid's like more comfortable with a certain type of person, or this person seems like her personality would fit with my kids a little bit better. I need someone that has like more of a gentle personality because my kid's very timid, or I need someone that's exciting and go. So they have like a profile list. So, but because we were booking last minute, it was basically, all right, Venmo the money here, we'll send you the information. So she sent the Venmo, which, y'all, that's a little nerve-wracking. It's like, send a lot of money, because I think it was like $180 or something like that for the 4 hours that we wanted. Plus, side note, it's not expected, but like it's customary to tip your nanny like you would, the Bell Services cast members at Disney World or anything like that. So kind of keep that in mind. Prepare to have like a cash tip ready, or I think you can Venmo too, but I would have a cash tip ready. And if you're going to be in the parks for a long amount of time, to probably offer to buy your nanny lunch or snacks or anything like that. So Dana did have some extra cash on her, and she gave the nanny at the park the next day. I'm jumping ahead of myself, but some money. She said, here's cash to get Riley an ice cream bar or a Coke or a cold water or whatever she wants. Like, here's some cash for y'all to do that and have snacks and stuff. We also had a cooler bag packed with us that had plenty of snacks in it. So, we told her, help yourself to whatever. These are snacks for the kids and for us, so help yourself to them. But anyway, so sent the Venmo money, took a leap of faith. Pretty quickly, got an email back. Okay, here's your nanny, Kara. She will meet you at the parks tomorrow for your designated time. I think we picked like 10 or 10:30 or something like that. Here's our contact info. So at that point, we started text messaging with her and kind of got the details, because it said like, if there's any parking fees or anything like that, you're expected to pay that for your nanny. But most of the nannies, or I'm pretty sure all of the nannies, have annual passes, so their parking is free at the like theme parks. So we didn't have to pay for parking or anything like that. So the next morning, got in touch with Kara, and she texted back and forth with us. We're like, okay, here's the game plan. The first thing we did was meet Olaf. Both of the girls were able to do that. So we met Olaf, and we're like, okay. At that point, she had texted us that she was heading into the park. So said, okay, we're headed to Toy Story Land. We'll meet you there, because that's where our first ride is set up for. We were, the first ride we had set up was Slinky Dog. So we told her what we were wearing, where we were. We were off to the sides of the bathrooms in Toy Story. So she met up with us, and I'll insert a clip here of us meeting her and some of the information.
All right, so we're here with our nanny from Once Upon a Nanny. Her name is Kara, and she's gonna hang out with Riley here while we take Weez on all of the big rides. So this is an option if you have little ones that just aren't into the rides and you want to do some rides, or if you have like a little one and an older one, and the older one wants to do rides, they'll hang out with you at the theme park. So y'all all have annual passes to get in? So they have annual passes. You come to resorts too, huh? Yeah, so they'll do like a resort stay with your kids if they want to have like do y'all do swim days? Like, can y'all take them to the pool?
As long as they let us know in advance.
Okay, yeah, so awesome option if you have a little one that's just not into the Disney ride, so you can still take an older one out and have fun.
So once we met our nanny, made sure Riley was comfortable with her, introduced ourselves to her, and at that point she This is another thing to keep in mind if you have 2 kids in one stroller, because we just had a double stroller with us. So she took Riley with the double stroller. I think at that point she took her to the Disney Junior Dance Party. We took Weezer on Slinky Dog Dash. Insert a cute little clip here for you. And then after that we had Rise of the Resistance booked. So Toy Story Land and Batuu, and especially Rise of the Resistance, is basically like Toy Story Land. You walk into Batuu and Rise is right there, because Star Wars Galaxy Edge has 2 entrances, and the other one is like you walk all the way around Galaxy Edge and it comes out by like, I think ABC Commissary and like Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway. No, it's from like the Star Tours Indiana Jones area. Anyway, so Rise of the Resistance and Toy Story Land are pretty close. So we're like, okay, we'll do Slinky Dog. Our next one we have booked as Rise of the Resistance, so we'll head straight there after Slinky. So we'll text you when we're getting on Rise of the Resistance if you could plan to meet us in Batuu with the double stroller at that point, because the one we had after Rise of the Resistance was Tower of Terror, which is all the way on the other end of the park at Sunset Boulevard. So Weezer's little 3-year-old legs weren't going to walk that far. So she did. She kept in touch with us with text messages. When we got off of Rise of the Resistance, her and Riley were waiting for us at the exit with the double stroller. We strolled to Sunset Boulevard, got the girls a snack. We're like, okay, Tower of Terror is our next one right here. Her plan was to take Riley to the car show, which is right behind Tower of Terror, behind like Rock and Roller Coaster area. So we did Tower of Terror. Our next task that I had booked was Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So I'll insert a clip. I piggybacked Weezer from Sunset Boulevard to Mickey and Minnie's because it was kind of a long walk for a 3-year-old, and we didn't have the double stroller. The nanny Kara had it with Riley. So after we got off of Mickey and Minnie's, or we texted her when we were getting on it, she met us in that area. In the meantime, she had taken Riley to a couple of shows. Like I said, they did the Disney Junior Dance Party, they did the car show. She had taken her to get an ice cream, so cute little pictures she sent and kept in touch of Riley enjoying an ice cream bar. And our last ride that we had booked was Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, and we had I think we had like 30 minutes until the scheduled time to arrive was. So she just came with us. We went to ABC Commissary, sat down in the air conditioning, had a snack. The girls played on their little like writing tablets, and we just all kind of sat together and hung out until that group was called, when it was ready for us to ride that. I don't remember what she did with Riley at that point. I think they just like sat and hung out and Riley played on her iPad, which is fine and what she wanted to do. But she kept in touch with us the whole time. And when we got off of Millennium Falcon, it was like perfect timing. Our 4 hours was just about up. So at that point, we, we're like, okay, you're relieved. We did all of the rides that we had wanted to do that Riley would not do or wasn't able to do. And she walked with us. She was like, well, I'm heading out of the park, so I'll just walk with y'all. We were going to Woody's Lunchbox to pick up a mobile order for our lunch before we headed back to the resort. But overall, y'all, it was a great experience. And Dana, Riley's mom, felt totally comfortable with it. And she was like, if I were to come back to Disney again, like with my husband potentially, could I request you? And she said yes. Like, as long as you do it more ahead of time than the like 12-hour notice that we gave them, you can request. So she was like, if I come back, I am totally requesting you to come and either watch her at the resort and do a swim day with her, or hang out in the parks and hang out with her so that we can do rides. But totally comfortable experience. She kept in touch the whole time she had Riley, sent us picture updates, and when we left, she got Dana's that she had an iPhone and did like the eyedrop for photos. I don't know how to do all that because I have an Android, but so she sent her a bunch of different like pictures and stuff that of things that she did with Riley during their time together. So it was a great experience, and I highly recommend using them and looking them up if you are in the situation where you get to Disney and your kid or one of your kids just totally freaks out and doesn't want to do anything, but you still have another kid that you want to do with and experience Disney World with, or you want to have a date night, or it's, your kid's not lasting past a certain point of time in the day and you have another kid that wants to go back to the park at nights to watch the fireworks or Fantasmic or something. You can have a nanny come to your resort and put your other kid to bed and just sit with them while you take the older kid, or you go on a date night with your husband or wife or whatever. Or you're a single parent that has multiple kids and you just need help, because we all know kids are a lot. Like, I personally could not take both of my children by myself to Disney World. I'm just personally not comfortable with it. So if I did, I would definitely look into hiring a nanny to have a second set of hands, basically, to help me. But yeah, hopefully this video was helpful and gives you another option to look at that maybe you didn't know existed, and helps you make a decision for your trip. So make sure you give this video a like, a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, subscribe to my channel, and follow along for more Disney with Littles tips and tricks. Bye guys.